Zainab Chaudry. She's the Maryland Director for the Council on American-Islamic Relations. Welcome to the programme. Zainab, how much political debate is there in Washington over President Biden's handling of Israel's offensive in Gaza?
Thank you so much for having me. Well, there's definitely growing debate. There's from the progressive members of Congress, we're seeing more and more pushback and resistance to the blank check that our government historically has approved to the Israeli government, over $3.5 billion annually that go towards funding an illegal and brutal occupation of Palestinians. Now President Biden and his administration are feeling the pressure of this unchecked support for Israel's aggression towards Palestinians. And today he called for a ceasefire, but his actions have to match his words. And as noted earlier, the fact that his administration has approved $735 million worth of precision-guided weapons to the Israeli government, his actions are not matching his words.
And do you think they will? Because, you know, I've seen that your organization has tweeted that the only leader in the world that we believe can stop this is President Biden. Do you think his actions will match his words?
We definitely hope so. If he exercises the moral courage, he definitely has the political willpower and the authority to be able to hold Israel accountable, to ensure that Israel does, in fact, stop the human rights violations of Palestinians, the unchecked aggression against Palestinians, especially in places like Gaza, where it's one of the most densely populated regions in the world. In recent days, we've seen Israeli airstrikes targeting family homes, news agencies, a cemetery. These are sites where when people who learn about these attacks, when they receive warnings of these attacks, I mean, really, where can they go? There's not really very many spaces in such a densely populated area where they can go. And there's a lot of loss of innocent civilian life.
Absolutely. We've just spoken to our correspondent there in Gaza, Nizar Sadawi, who said, you know, nowhere is safe in Gaza tonight, a very intense night of raids there. But tell us, just how strong is the pro-Israel lobby right now? Is there any signs that it's cracking under this pressure, seeing those images that are coming, especially of so many Palestinian children dying?
You know, the horrific toll of these casualties that this assault is having on Palestinians, the world is beginning to see this. I think especially with social media, we're seeing information and news spreading like wildfire, and people are more aware now than ever before. I was actually speaking with a Palestinian friend of mine earlier today who's an activist, who was saying that in her lifetime as an activist, she's never seen the kind of support for the Palestinian people as she is seeing in recent days, as people are beginning to realize and with their own eyes what's going on there and the kinds of human rights violations that are happening. And definitely Human Rights Watch groups report that indicated that Israel is complicit in crimes against humanity and is complicit of apartheid. It's helping to bolster that case. It's helping people to come forward and call what's wrong, finally. However, we need the Biden administration to do more to hold Israel accountable. Blocking the UN security resolution is not going to be helpful. Yesterday, there was a third meeting that was called to consider this resolution, and the United States government blocked this United Nations security resolution again for the third time. And we need to make sure that our government is doing the right thing when it comes to this issue. We need our government to exercise moral courage and make sure that the loss of innocent life, especially in Palestine, where there is no Iron Dome, for example, to protect Palestinians in Gaza from these airstrikes, our government needs to make sure that innocent life is protected.
But, you know, going back to my question, isn't the pro-Israel lobby there in the US stronger than any pressure that might come from activists, from what we're seeing coming from social media? Is it just untouchable?
It's very well funded, but we're also seeing that the power of the people cannot be ignored, right? And the power lies with the people. People have the authority and the ability to be able to hold organizations and lobbyists and elected officials accountable. And people are starting to speak up. We're seeing organizations who historically have never taken a position on Palestine are now saying that what's happening is wrong. They're calling out Israel for its crimes against humanity. And lobbies are only as strong as the people who support them. So if people can be conscientious about their support, then that will help provide justice for the Palestinian people.
Zainab Chaudry, great to have you on the programme. Thank you for making time for us on TRT World. Appreciate it.